Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about the story of Joshua. Now, we all know how Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt, how he freed them from the slavery of Pharaoh, how he split the Red Sea, and how the Israelites crossed through it and went towards the Promised Land. Well, the thing is that Moses actually was never able to go to the Promised Land. After his time, we needed a new leader to step up and to take his place as the new leader of Israel. And that leader was Joshua. Now, in chapter 1 of Joshua, Joshua is installed as the new leader after Moses. God tells him that he will lead the people to the promised land, the same promised land that he had already promised Moses, and that they'd have to cross the Jordan River to get there. So, Joshua takes this information and relays it to the people of Israel, telling them, prepare in 3 days' time that we are going to cross the Jordan River. So make your preparations now. Now this leads into chapter 2 about Rahab and the 2 spies. Joshua sends 2 spies out to scour the land, to survey the countries, and to see the situations happening there. Once they reach the city of Jericho, they enter into the house of a woman named Rahab. The people of Jericho hear that there are spies in the city and they go out looking. When they get to Rahab's house, she has already hidden the spies in her home, and she tells the people of Jericho she doesn't know who they are. That the people of Israel have come, and by night they have left, and she no longer knows their whereabouts. After the people of Jericho leave, she goes to the Israelites, who she had hidden in her attic, and she tells them that the people of Jericho know who they are, and that they have heard the stories of their God, this powerful being who is with them, and that they are frightened. All she asks of them is that they would spare her and her family. Now, pretend this is red. One of the Israelites gives her a red cord and tells her, hang this upon your window, so that when we come to take the city, we will see the red cord hanging on your window, and that we will know to pass over your home and to spare you and your family. So the Israelites go out to the hills and they hide there for 3 more nights before returning to Joshua and reporting to him about what they had discovered. This leads into chapter 3, the crossing of the Jordan River. Now, God tells Joshua, send the priest carrying the Ark of the Covenant into the river first before the people. So, as the priests are carrying the Ark of the Covenant, when they reach the edge of the water, up north, the city of Adam, the water stops. And it's piling up there. And then down south of Araba, the city of Araba, the water has completely stopped and there's no water anymore. And the priests step on to dry land. And once they reach the middle of the Jordan, they stand there as the people of Israel cross on dry land past them. Now this leads actually into chapter 4. What happens after? God tells Joshua, send 1 person from each tribe of Israel. From the 12 tribes, 1 person from each tribe, to go to where the priests are standing. Pick a stone and bring it back. Keep it with them for where they're staying that night. So, 12 people, 1 from each tribe, go and take a stone, and they go back. Then the priests come out of the Jordan River, and the water resumes flowing. At this time of year, it is flooding usually, so that's already a very long path that they need to do. So they all crossed on dry land. And Joshua tells the people that these stones will be for their descendants. So when their descendants ask, what are these stones? They can tell them the story of how the Israelites crossed the Jordan River on dry land, because God willed it to happen. Now we reach chapter 5 of the book of Joshua. Joshua is one of the younger Israelites, and there are many other young Israelites. These Israelites were born in the desert, or they were the younger ones from Egypt, and most of them had not been circumcised yet. So God tells him to circumcise the people because they were circumcised when they were back in Egypt, but while they were traveling, they were not circumcised because they were traveling. So God tells them, circumcise them now. And while they're resting, Joshua goes out and he sees somebody. And this figure that he sees turns out to be one of the soldiers of God's army, an angel. And this angel tells Joshua, take off your sandals, for where you stand is holy land. And Joshua obliges. He takes off his sandals right away. And the angel tells Joshua, for Moses, God split the waters, but for you, God will split rock. Now we jump into chapter 6 of the book of Joshua. In the chapter 6, Joshua is instructed that he will take the armed men of the Israelites, as well as the priest holding the Ark of the Covenant, and 7 other priests with horns. And for 6 days, they will walk around the city of Jericho. And when they finish walking, the priests will blow their horns, and they will go back. But during the walk, there should be no sound. No one should speak. On the 7th day, they would do the same thing, but instead of walking once, they would walk 7 times. And on the 7th time, when the priests blow the horn, everyone would shout. So, Joshua tells the people to do exactly that. On the first day, armed men and the priest, as well as the priest with the horn and Joshua, walk around the city once. And when they finished walking, the priests blew their horns, and they went back for the night. They repeated this for 6 days. On the 7th day, they walked around 7 times. And on the 7th round, the priests blew their horn, and Joshua told all the people to shout, and they all shouted, and the walls of Jericho fell. And they went in and took the city. Now Joshua remembered the promise that the spies made, so he told the spies to go and find Rahab. And they found her house with the red cord on it. They went in and took her family out to safety. And that is how they took the city of Jericho. Now, why do we learn about Joshua in Deuteronomy? The reason being is because Joshua is a servant leader. Before, he was serving Moses, and now he has stepped up as leader. But he remembers that he is not on top, that God is always above him, and that he should always listen to what God says. Now this is important because in life, sometimes we may feel like we are number one, and that we are the best. But we must always remember to give thanks to God, because he is the one who gives us our gifts. He is the one who blesses us to be as great and as wonderful as we are. And we must always remember that we are not alone, but we have the people with us, and that we need to help them. The same way that Joshua helped the Israelites. He heard the message of God, and he led them. And he never overstepped, because God opens the doors, and he lets them through. Sometimes we may forget that God is helping us, and we might try to break the doors that aren't open yet. But we must always remember that God is there, and God is here for us, his people.